Hello guys, welcome back to our anime moment. Guys, please like the video and subscribe to my channel. Today is explanation of Swallowed Star episode number 456 based on novel. So let's start. No wonder teacher Sitting Mountain Guest hadn't contacted him since he entered the world of Jin. Neither had he asked him about the world of Jin. Sitting Mountain Guest hadn't even entered the world of Jin. All great beings in Universe Ocean are curious about the world of Jin, and there are no exceptions. Primal Chaos City Leader and other great beings from the Hong Alliance are all curious about it, and lots of them ask me questions. Yet teacher Sitting Mountain Guest has never asked me about anything. I've been confused about how teacher Sitting Mountain Guest was able to create the 9-volume manual and Star Tower as only a true god. Luo Feng felt that he knew a bit more about Sitting Mountain Guest now. Even though he still hadn't figured out much about the mysterious Sitting Mountain Guest, he at least knew now that he was somehow related to the world of Jin. As for the core of Jin, Jin country was destroyed, and the godly king was dead. Those supreme beings who followed His Majesty the godly king might have already died. Without a doubt, Sitting Mountain Guest was a true god. However, did Sitting Mountain Guest obtain an inheritance like me? Did he get the inheritance from His Majesty the godly king, or from a supreme being under the godly king? Thoughts flooded Luo Feng's mind, and he temporarily pushed back the confusion. At least he knew more about Sitting Mountain Guest now. Luo Feng's mind raced, yet he was still able to talk with the godly king normally. Your Majesty, who are the 3 supreme beings you talked about? I need to know about them first. Of course, said the man in the luxurious cape. They are the 3 country masters of another superpower, Sha country. Masters of Sha country? Luo Feng nodded but was confused. Where are they now? Could it be? Was Sha country destroyed? The remains he had found about the ancient civilization all concluded that they were from a destroyed civilization. Only the world of Jin was still intact. Destroyed? The man in the luxurious cape looked befuddled. Then he sighed. Yes. It has been a very long time. Sha country may have been destroyed. Luo Feng couldn't help asking, Your Majesty, if they are still alive, how am I supposed to find them? Universe Ocean was too mysterious. Nobody had ever inspected the edge of it. That giant object that looked like the body of His Majesty the Godly King could have flown from a remote area of Universe Ocean. Could there be other creatures in the remote area of Universe Ocean? Were there other powers? He didn't know. To true gods, Universe Ocean was unfathomably large. If they wandered too far, chances were they would get lost. There's no rush. The man in the luxurious cape smiled. When you become stronger, you'll know more secrets. As for whether Sha country has been destroyed or not, even if it has been, it's impossible for all the 3 country masters to have died. Luo Feng memorized his words. Look. The man in the white cape pointed at a ground close to him, and a machine appeared. What? Luo Feng said, looking at the machine carefully. It had a smooth body shaped like a monkey with a flexible tail. It sat there in silence. The power made Luo Feng's heart race. The man in a luxurious cape said casually, This is the true god machine, Wu Chi god. It's one of the beast true god level machines, and it only allows one great being to use it. It's definitely a top-tier true god machine that can fully utilize your power. The only downside is that it consumes a great deal of energy. You already have an enormous body, but you still need to be careful. Don't use too much godly power at once. Otherwise, it'll take you a long time to recover your body. Luo Feng nodded, looking at Wu Chi God with eyes gleaming. A long time to recover? What a joke. He had endless remote ocean. If you finish the sealing task and become a sealed great being, you're qualified to get Wu Chi God. This Wu Chi God is yours now, said the man in the cape. Mine? But the military credits, Luo Feng said, looking at the man in the cape. Wu Chi God required 30 million military credits. Ha ha. For every task finished, you receive military credits, laughed the man in the cape. This sealing task is strenuous, so the prize is 30 million military credits. Do you really want some other valuable instead of Wu Chi God? You can make your own decision if you want. No, of course I will, said Luo Feng. So, this was how it worked. The prize for the sealing task was 30 million military credits, which meant the final prize was to give the great being Wu Chi God. Wu Chi God. Luo Feng looked at the machine in front of him. Universe Ocean is in chaos now, especially after the four lands of extremis. Besides, the original mind guided us to this land. Great Thunder Star Master performed a form of power completely different from godly power. There must be a secret behind all these events. Luo Feng felt that a storm was coming. The more powerful I become, the better I can cope with this situation. Besides, I've journeyed through Wu Chi Tower and I got many machine-type valuables and true god-level armors on the 3rd floor from those soldiers. I can go back and exchange them for military credits, then exchange them back for some valuables fit for my human race. He was only one man, so he only needed several valuables, especially after he became a true god. He would only have one body, so he only needed a few powerful valuables. As for the majority of the machine-type valuables he obtained, he did that because he needed to think about the future of the human race. Of course, he wouldn't just give them away for free. Nobody could get anything for free. Luo Feng strolled to Wu Chi God and sealed his life imprint in it. This machine-type valuable, which looked like a black monkey, merged with Luo Feng's body immediately, transforming him into a human-shaped monkey with a tail, but the face was still Luo Feng's face. So complicated. Luo Feng studied it a bit and could tell that the engravings were intricate, much more so than Bib Bird and Golden Claw God. This is a true god-level machine, and it's one of the most top-tier machines, said the man in the cape. If you want to maximize its power, your comprehension of laws needs to be top-tier at true god level. Of course, even though you're only a law master, you can still use it. The power of this machine is divided into 3 levels. Luo Feng smiled. There were 3 ways to use it, yet even the first way was more complicated than Bib Bird or Golden Claw God, let alone the 3rd way. Perhaps he could only utilize the 3rd way after becoming a true god. Put your Wu Chi God away, said the man in the cape. I don't want those soldiers to know the secret behind this sealing task. That was why I used Wu Chi God as a shield to tempt those law masters and true gods. Actually, it's no valuable. Luo Feng didn't argue. It was true. To the great godly king, true god-level machine was nothing, even if it was a top-tier one. However, he was a law master, so while he was a law master or a true god, Wu Chi God would be his best valuable. It might still be handy even after he became a true god of void space. Since I hope you'll become a godly king, I'll give you the practicing methods. The man in the luxurious cape shook his head. However, I'm proficient in valuables making, but apparently, you are not. As for those fighting-type techniques, I'm not good at it. I've prepared an inheritance for you. Luo Feng's eyes gleamed. An inheritance? The more, the better. Start comprehending it yourself. The man in the cape threw out a crystal glowing with black light. I'm the only godly king in Jin country, so I can't give you the best inheritance in fighting. This is a combination of all the techniques obtained by me and the great beings working for me by killing others. It'll help you become a godly king. Luo Feng nodded and strolled to the crystal. It would take him a long time to receive the inheritance, though, so he would have to study it after leaving Wu Chi Tower. You need time to study the inheritance, said the man in the cape. Though Wu Chi God is very helpful, you could die if you come across a true god of void space. Which is why I shall grant you the strength of a world in the world of Jin. Strength of a world, said Luo Feng, dazed. You've finished the sealing task, said the man. You're at the same status as the 4 generals, but only on the surface. The generals know that you are now the most important individual in the world of Jin. You have absolute authority in the world of Jin. If anyone dares to cross you, you can use the strength of a world to deal with him. Luo Feng looked pleased. How powerful is this strength of a world? You can suppress eternal true gods and kill any true god of void space, said the man in the luxurious cape. But don't slaughter. Luo Feng nodded. I understand. The godly king of Jin treated him so kindly, all because he had gotten Lai Yuan technique and he counted on him to kill the 3 country masters of Sha country. After all, the godly king of Jin had already died. He gave Luo Feng such authority because he had placed his hopes in Luo Feng, at least in the world of Jin. So I can use the strength of a world in the world of Jin? Luo Feng was pleased. Then the lives of all those great beings in Universe Ocean who entered the world of Jin are in my hands. The godly king had only told him not to slaughter. That meant he could kill a reasonable number of beings. I've already given you everything I can, said the man in the cape. I am already dead. All this is everything I can offer you. You're on your own from now on. It's time for you to leave Wu Chi Tower. Luo Feng bowed to show his gratefulness. After all, the godly king had helped him a lot. A light pillar arrived and hit Luo Feng. Luo Feng disappeared from Wu Chi Tower and was transported out. They had been waiting for this moment for a long time. Ever since His Majesty the Godly King left Wu Chi Tower, their sole purpose had been to find that peerless talent which was more important than their own lives. It disappeared. The sealing task disappeared. The sealing task of Lord Masters have disappeared. He succeeded. That soldier Milky Way must have reached the top of Wu Chi Tower. The 4 leaders in the palace were watching carefully at every moment. They could see the tasks in the 4 armies and Godly King Valley, but after Luo Feng entered the 8th floor of Wu Chi Tower, they didn't know what had happened. However, Luo Feng had been in there for a long time without coming out. Their expectations were aflame. They were all staring at the task list, and they all cried out at once. The 4 beings disappeared from the palace and arrived at the ground floor of Wu Chi Tower. Some of the true god guards around Wu Chi Tower were startled. It was quite rare for all the leaders to come out altogether. The leaders? It's the leaders. All 4 leaders are here. The 4 leaders were looking at the front door of Wu Chi Tower. Why he hasn't come out? He should have come out now. The 4 leaders were transmitting their voices and waiting eagerly. Little did they know was that the task had been rescinded when Luo Feng finished the 8th floor, and Luo Feng was talking with His Majesty the Godly King on the 9th floor. After a long time, the towering door was opened, and a soldier walked out. He has walked out? In the endless time after Wu Chi Tower was created, the soldiers who survived were all transported out, and no one walked out of the front door. Besides, all the other soldiers were transported out a long time ago, yet this one stayed inside for a long time. Did he actually make it to the top? The 4 leaders are greeting him. He must have succeeded. The true god guards had seen many soldiers go inside before, so they also knew something about Wu Chi Tower. They were indeed shocked. Luo Feng saw 4 beings when he came out. A cloud of black mist, a towering male being, a silver-armored female being, and a strange beast great being. 4 of them stood shoulder to shoulder and looked at him, elated. Luo Feng looked at those 4, but he didn't know what to say. He didn't know any of them. We are the 4 leaders of Godly King Valley. We've been guarding Godly King Valley under the order of His Majesty the Godly King, the voice of the towering leader rumbled. Also, we've been waiting for a peerless talent who can make it to the top of Wu Chi Tower. Milky Way Jin, we're really glad that you were able to succeed. Milky Way Jin, please come inside the palace. Luo Feng nodded. Then he followed the 4 leaders and walked toward the Silver Palace. The true god guards couldn't hear their conservations. The towering leader glanced at those guards. Say nothing about today. Yes, leader, all the soldiers answered respectfully. On the 1st floor of the Silver Palace, Luo Feng spoke with the leaders. He was surprised at how excited and enthusiastic they were. They are way too excited, he thought. The cloud of black mist condensed into a blurry human shape. We've been hoping for someone to reach the top of Wu Chi Tower for a long time, it said. We've waited for this moment for an eternity. It has been a great burden on us, and it has been pressuring us for such a long time. Every time we think about this, we just feel so sorry for His Majesty the Godly King. Now that you've succeeded, Milky Way, we can finally enjoy a sense of relief. The silver-armored female leader was sitting there, and there was a tear in her eye. It's been too long, she said. Just wait here a bit, Milky Way. We've informed the 4 generals that you just made it to the top of Wu Chi Tower, the towering leader explained. The 4 generals are mighty, so they will be able to arrive here in a very short period of time. Just like us, for an eternity, the 4 generals have been wondering about the best way to screen and cultivate a peerless genius who could make it to the top of Wu Chi Tower. The 4 generals will also be excited and happy when they know that you have succeeded. They'll want to meet you. Luo Feng nodded and smiled. I've known about the 4 generals for a long time. I've always wanted to meet them, but I've never gotten a chance. As a sealed great being, especially someone who got sealed by reaching the top of Wu Chi Tower, he was at the same level as the generals, at least on the surface. Actually, he was superior to the generals and leaders. Just as Luo Feng was talking with the 4 leaders, 4 beings entered the palace. Luo Feng saw 2 tribal great beings and 2 strange beast great beings. They were all suppressing their powers, yet Luo Feng still felt pressured by the invisible forces. Milky Way, this is the General Harmonious Snow from the East Army. the towering leader said, introducing him. Harmonious Snow was the gentlest one out of the 4 generals. He had snowy skin, and there were green patterns beside his ears. He looked elegant in that white armor, and there was a pupil between his eyebrows. He looked elevated and gazed at Luo Feng with all his eyes gleaming. We've been waiting for this moment for too long. We've finally lived up to His Majesty the Godly King. Introduce me now, roared a giant strange beast with 6 faces. All 6 ugly and ferocious faces then smiled at Luo Feng. I'm North. No need to rush. I'll introduce you all one by one. Luo Feng finally realized how keen the generals were. The 4 generals and leaders had been waiting for this moment for an eternity, and their sole purpose was to find a peerless genius that could reach the top of Wu Chi Tower. That purpose trumped their own practicing, even their own lives. They were all excited to find out that Luo Feng had arrived. Milky Way, you can go train yourself, but the world of Jin is enormous. And your power. You might not be entirely safe. I'll arrange some true gods of void space to protect you in secret. Milky Way. The 4 generals kept talking. They literally treated Luo Feng as if he were an invaluable treasure. They feared something bad might happen to this precious commodity. After half a day, Luo Feng left Godly King Valley. The leaders and generals, Luo Feng said. They even wanted to escort me back to the East Army. They treat me like their children, and they are willing to give me anything I want. Luo Feng could feel from the conversation that the generals and leaders were treating him like the inheritor of the Godly King. Back to the East Army. Luo Feng sat in the silver boat and flew away. When Luo Feng finished the Na Yin technique of Lai Yuan technique, both remote ocean body and Mosha body stopped spreading the willpower shock and became conscious. Primal Chaos City leader, True Yang Knight, and others who were concerned about Luo Feng all contacted him. Luo Feng then briefed them on what had happened and made them understand the issue behind that. But of course, Luo Feng couldn't share the big secret. Teacher True Yang has the training guide from the ancient civilization, thought Luo Feng, and he's already reached the level of a limit universe knight. He's only one step away from becoming a universe master. I'll have to give him a huge present after he becomes a universe master. True Yang Knight was Luo Feng's teacher, which was why he gave him many resources, so True Yang could improve himself fast. Luo Feng was closest to True Yang out of all his teachers, followed by Primal Chaos City leader, followed by Sitting Mountain guest. True Yang Knight treated his disciple like family, while Chaos valued Luo Feng because he was a great treasure to humans. As for Sitting Mountain, he had other plans. Of course, all of them were teachers for whom Luo Feng was genuinely grateful. He wanted to pay them back, but Sitting Mountain guest had never told him anything he needed. True Yang, Big Brother Hong, and Second Brother Thunder God are all still undying, Luo Feng thought. For all these years, I've been fighting for the human race, but I need to care for the Earthlings and my family now. Luo Feng left Godly King Valley and raced toward the East Army. It was a long way to go, and all the while, Luo Feng was studying Wu Chi God. There were 3 levels of Wu Chi God. The first level was superior to Golden Claw God and Big Bird. As for the 3rd level, it was stronger than many machine-type valuables of true gods of void space, which was why it was the ultimate true god machine. It has taken me almost a day to fully understand how to use this Wu Chi God. A day was almost 10 years in the space of inheritance. Luo Feng wore Wu Chi God, and his entire body looked like a monkey clad in armor, though it still had Luo Feng's face. It turned black, and its tail was slashing. Burn! Burn! Luo Feng immediately burned his body and performed the 2nd volume of Duan Mia at the same time. His energies surged and extended to the entire Wu Chi God. 16 cores of Wu Chi God were transformed at once, and each of the 4 formed an engraving picture. All the engraving pictures combined to form a virtual core inside Wu Chi God. Gleaming golden light filled Wu Chi God. Millions of phantoms of Luo Feng were left in the palace of Boat of Mausoleum. Then they disappeared. It's too powerful. Luo Feng was amazed. With this Wu Chi God, I can give away both Golden Claw God and Big Bird. With this valuable, those Universe Supreme Masters in Universe Ocean won't be my match even if they can get a machine-type valuable. Luo Feng was confident, but he added in a whisper, Wu Chi God indeed consumes godly power very fast. He was flying swiftly under the 2nd volume of Duan Mia, and combined with driving Wu Chi God, it devoured his godly power. If he was still the same Luo Feng who only had a godly body of 100,000 kilometers, it might have been gone instantly. Fortunately, he had a large enough godly body now, but he still didn't dare to fight for too long. No wonder His Majesty the Godly King told me it consumes lots of power even when he knew I had a giant godly body. Luo Feng sighed. Finally, after 3 months, Luo Feng arrived back at the East Army. Within the military camp of the East Army, where Python River Army was stationed, Luo Feng was leisurely flying in the sky above the lake as he passed by it to head toward his own island. On an island beneath Luo Feng, 2 warriors were in the midst of a conversation when they raised their heads and saw him flew by. Look, it's Milky Way. He is Milky Way? I heard the captains of the 6 troops are all afraid of that Milky Way. Warrior Milky Way had made his way back to the military camp, and news spread rapidly within the 6th troop under the 1st main team of Python River Army. Warrior Milky Way from your 6th troop is back? My friend has heard of his name from way back then and would like to get acquainted with him. He just got back to his own island. A red-faced warrior from the 3rd troop of the 1st main team of Python River Army made a brief tour and soon caught wind of the news that Warrior Milky Way had returned. It was common knowledge that it was impossible for warriors within the military camp to spend all their time only on cultivation. Making friends and sparring with others were also extremely important, especially for warriors from special army troops who were highly reputable. Many great beings would be more than willing to befriend such warriors because warriors of this caliber had high chances of becoming true gods of void space. The red-faced warrior quickly left the military camp of Python River Army and headed for the military grounds of another special army troop. Chengmu. Chengmu. The red-faced warrior looked down as he sent out a voice transmission that swept through the vast expanse of forest beneath him. From a huge wooden house constructed entirely of numerous large, sturdy trees, a double-faced, 4-armed man flew out. He was clad in a suit of cyan armor and raised his head to look. The moment he saw his visitor, he smiled and said, "Chuhua, I was just about to go look for you, and here you are. I just cooked something delicious. Come and try it." Chengmu. The red-faced warrior dashed down from where he was. "Haven't you been looking for that warrior Milky Way from our Python River Army?" "Yes," the green-armored man replied right away. Then he excitedly asked, "Is he back in camp?" "Yes, he just got back not long ago," the red-faced warrior replied with a smile. The green-armored man revealed his delight. "I have long wanted to meet him, but whatever it is, nothing matters more than eating." "Good, good, good." The red-faced warrior was suddenly filled with anticipation. Universe Ocean, within Purple Moon Holy Land Universe. In the palace hall, Purple Moon Ancestor sat in silence with his eyes closed as though he could just sit there for endless eras. Beneath him, also in cross-legged positions, were various figures that took the form of either other bodies of gods or avatars sustained by godly powers. All of them were universe masters who had entered the world of Jinn. Suddenly, from amongst them, a double-faced, 4-armed man opened his eyes and shot to his feet. "Ancestor," the cyan-clothed man reported with great reverence, "I have received news that warrior Milky Way just returned to the military camp of the East Army. Right now, he is at Python River Army's military grounds." The moment this was said, the other universe masters around him opened their eyes in shock. "Huh?" Seated above them all, Purple Moon Ancestor opened his eyes. A trace of coldness flashed in his gaze as he looked down at the crowd beneath him. "If that is the case, then we shall all need to start preparing to act together." "Yes, Ancestor." The numerous universe masters beneath all responded positively to his orders. Within the military camp of the East Army in the world of Jinn, the universe masters of Purple Moon Holy Land who had joined the East Army were preparing for action. Within Purple Moon Holy Land Universe, a number of universe masters below started to speak up. "Ancestor, it is confirmed. Luo Feng is indeed in the military grounds of the Python River Army. Ancestor, we are already standing guard by the wormhole transportation point outside the military camp. The moment he comes out, we will all know right away." "Ancestor?" "Very well." Purple Moon Ancestor looked down and nodded with satisfaction. "Since this Luo Feng has already entered the military camp of the East Army, if we are to strike, we must make sure this one move will exterminate him. Chengmu, it's up to you now." "Rest assured, Ancestor," Chengmu Master replied deferentially. Purple Moon Ancestor nodded in silence, but in his heart, he was silently saying, "Luo Feng, even if you have the legendary inheritance of the pulse of Duandong River, so what? East Emperor, that old fellow. He is not qualified to vie with me, and you do not stand a chance in a fight against me either. Regardless of how impressive a talent you are, if dead, you are nothing more than useless." World of Jinn, military camp of the East Army. in the vast forest found within the land where the Special Army Troop, Swan Queen Army, was stationed. The red-faced warrior was incredibly carefree as he swayed about in the form of flowing light. This is so delicious. I have never eaten anything so delicious before when I was in the tribe. If I could frequently enjoy such delicious fare, I would prefer to spend half the time I spend on cultivation on eating instead. Chengmu, the next time you create such a marvelous dish, do remember to call me. That's for sure. Chengmu Master tilted his head and laughed. After the red-faced warrior left, Chengmu Master's expression suddenly became quite stern. Are we going to activate the killer trap? Chengmu Master was feeling an intangible pressure. As a universe master who had made it into a special army troop, Purple Moon Ancestor had handed a heavy responsibility over to him. I have given up every hope for a future in the world of Jin just to see to your death, Luo Feng. And you? You should be proud of that. Chengmu Master's heart was filled with resentment. He had long been familiar with the three most dangerous lands of Universe Ocean, but this world of Jin. Since the moment he first entered, he had been completely mesmerized. He truly did not want to leave. However, the moment the deadly trap was activated, he, Chengmu, would no longer be able to come to the world of Jin again. Let's begin. Chengmu Master hesitated no further. Transforming into flowing light, he flew out. The vast piece of forest was the military ground of the Swan Queen Army. The Swan Queen Army was divided into two major groups. One consisted of law masters, and the other consisted of true gods. Both sides were completely isolated from one another. Right in the center of the military camp was a towering godly palace. Before the godly palace were a few guards. This godly palace was where the commander of the Swan Queen Army resided. Within the army, those who could assume commander positions of special army troops were all true gods of void space. Outside of the army, they would all have been overlords. There were 6 guards before the godly palace. 2 were true gods, and the other 4 were law masters. Stop. Stop. This is the commander's residence. Trespassing is prohibited. The moment Chengmu Master descended, he said, I seek an audience with the commander regarding an important matter. Warrior, a true god guard shouted out. You think our commander is someone you can meet so easily? Quickly take your leave. I have something very urgent that needs to be brought to the commander's attention, Chengmu Master said with great urgency. Seeing how persistent he was, the 2 true god guards could not help but look at one another as they hesitated. After all, this warrior who had come forth was also a fellow warrior of their Swan Queen Army. Let him in, a cold voice resounded. Yes, Commander, replied the 2 true gods standing guard outside the palace. The guards looked toward Chengmu Master. Enter. Chengmu Master heaved a sigh of relief and entered the godly palace. The palace seemed to be like a maze. The corridors were full of twists and turns, and there were chambers everywhere. Chengmu Master could only follow the path as he made his way forward. After a short moment, Chengmu Master saw a garden. There were countless lovely flowers within the garden, and there was a beautiful lady with 9 feathery tails that were green with a tinge of gold. There were exquisite feathers all over her head, but her face was so striking that it stole Chengmu Master's breath away instantly. Is she the legendary Swan Queen? Chengmu Master said to himself. The Swan Queen Army had been created by this Swan Queen. To be able to establish a special army troop, one had to be a true god of void space. Over a long period of time, some true gods of void space might break through to become eternal true gods. So naturally, the true god of void space who was next in line would take over their place. However, a breakthrough was too difficult, so the majority of the true gods of void space would usually continue in their positions as commanders. This was how it was like for this Swan Queen. Chengmu pays his respect to Commander, Chengmu Master said, bowing deferentially. What matter could be pressing enough for you to come here to see me? Swan Queen's eyes were radiating green light as they gave Chengmu Master a once-over. If you cannot tell me something that is really pressing, then you shall be dealt with the military way. You will be fed to my children. Chengmu Master showed no hint of fear. He replied right away, Commander, I have chanced upon a big secret. A big secret? Swan Queen was still speaking in a casual manner. That warrior, Milky Way, from the 6th Troop of Python River Army's main team, Chengmu Master said in a highly anxious manner. He is actually from another powerful group from the outside world. He has snuck his way into our world of Jin. After I caught wind of this news, I was afraid that I would be annihilated. Thus, I did not dare to expose the truth. It was only after I returned to camp that I dared to report to Commander about what I found out. The outside world, entering my world of Jinn? Suddenly, there was a surge of murderous intent bursting out from Swan Queen's eyes. Any life form from the world of Jinn would show absolute loyalty to the world of Jinn and pure hostility to life forms from the outside world. Swan Queen stared at Chengmu Master. Are you sure you are not lying to me? My world of Jinn has not had life forms from the outside world visiting here for a long, long time. I would never dare to lie to Commander. How could I dare to lie about something like that? Swan Queen stared hard at him. You must have evidence. Chengmu Master started to get flustered. I saw it with my own eyes, but evidence? What evidence could I possibly have? Based on nothing but a casual comment from you, I am supposed to investigate that warrior, Milky Way. Swan Queen retorted coldly. Despite her words, deep in her heart, Swan Queen had her suspicions. Even if this warrior under her command dared to lie to her, he would not tell such a preposterous tale. Who knew? There might have been truth to what he had said. Regardless, she needed to find some time to investigate and verify. Chengmu Master was very anxious. Commander, I truly saw it with my own eyes. Humph. Swan Queen snorted coldly. I shall spare you of your sin this time around. Take your leave. Chengmu Master was going crazy as he said through gritted teeth, I saw him with my own eyes. He is a warrior from the outside world. Commander, you just have to execute your hypnotizing methods and make him fall into an illusion. Then naturally, he will tell you everything willingly. If there is anything untrue to what I saw, or he does not admit that he comes from the outside world even when he has fallen into an illusion, then I am willing to die. Illusion? Swan Queen was growing impatient as she said, I don't think I need you to teach me what to do. You may take your leave. Commander. Everything I say is the truth. Nothing but the naked truth. If you are kind enough to spare him, you will put our world of Jinn at a great disadvantage. Chengmu Master was so frantic with anxiety that he started to glare. Whatever I say, I am willing to die to prove the credibility of my words. Suddenly, Chengmu Master exploded in his entirety. His godly power was annihilated completely, and thereafter, he was reduced to nothingness. Swan Queen was shocked to have witnessed the entire scene. Self-destruction? Using his death to prove his loyalty? I simply can't believe this warrior could be loyal to such a degree. Through the years, there were many such warriors who were incomparably upright. She herself had come across quite a few. There were also quite a few who chose death to prove themselves, but this was the very first time she had witnessed a scene of self-destruction unfolding right before her very eyes. What a loyal and upright warrior. Such a pity. Swan Queen shook her head with a sigh. Then her green eyes started to sparkle. Could it be that there are truly life forms from the outside world in my world of Jinn? Swan Queen vanished into thin air. This video will end here.